Today, popularity ratings for Meghan Markle in her home country of America are absolutely damning. Newsweek, formerly an ally of the Sussexes, has revealed that not only are visits to the as ever, or was never, as Lady Colin Campbell calls it, website down, so too is her overall popularity in America, which means this whole mission has been a disaster. We're going to get into these figures and do a deep dive with royal YouTube sensation, according to Taz imminently. But before that, I just want to explain why this means People magazine is now becoming the official propaganda outfit for Harry and Meghan to quite a ludicrous extent. Like, the most recent headline says Meghan Markle's coastal kitchen has us eyeing rustic cake stands, floral plates, and more charming finds from $9. Now, can we just be honest about it? Because everyone knows their kitchen is gross, right? Like, I mean, I'm not a big kitchen guy, but there's a reason why Meghan never uses their own kitchen for her TV show or her photo shoots, because it's dark, it's dingy, it's dated, and apparently it's the laughingstock of the Montecito locals. So for People magazine to say that actually people are wanting these floating wooden shelves, copper cookware, and bamboo spoons was a new low. And Queen Esther has been doing some amazing work on this, and I want to take you through it. She asked this question: when did People magazine become Meghan Markle's spokesperson? Then she's done some great work, and we'll have a look at it, proving, and there are hundreds. So let's start running through them because it's ludicrous, but proving that they do now operate as a propaganda arm for the couple. She argued, People magazine has published an astonishing volume of Meghan Markle articles just in 2026 alone. Not major interviews, not award wins, not blockbuster projects, not cultural moments that actually dominated headlines. Instead, readers get a relentless cycle of product launches, Instagram recaps, outfit breakdowns, sweet family nods, vacation glimpses, and glowing lifestyle features. Month after month, the same stories recycled in slightly different packaging. The formula never changes. Meghan Markle, the devoted mother. Meghan, the loving wife. Meghan, the visionary entrepreneur. Meghan, the misunderstood figure. Meghan, the resilient success story. Different headline, identical narrative. After well over 100 articles in 2026 alone, and we're running through them all, can you see this? Built around the same themes and the same flattering framing, the question is whether they're functioning as journalists or as her personal mouthpiece. If the goal is to churn out endless celebrity fluff pieces with no pushback, context, scrutiny, or balance, then call it what it is: a celebrity image management platform disguised as reporting. People magazine has devolved into a captive mouthpiece for Meghan Markle's image rehabilitation machine. The archive speaks for itself. And we're just seeing all of these headlines, and I thank Queen Esther for that incredible research. And I noted one earlier this week too. Look at this. Meghan Markle hiked in the podiatrist-approved sneakers shoppers say feel comfortable. Now, she wore this once. She wore these sneakers once in Australia. Royally Sage pointed out Rachel is reduced to being an influencer. That is an embarrassing drop from being a working royal. So, Tash, what we have to start doing here is questioning, where are the financial links, firstly? Why are People magazine promoting Meghan Markle's shoes? Like, are they both potentially making money from this? That's my first question. Secondly, in regards to Queen Esther's question, I think we can be very clear. People magazine is no longer a journalistic enterprise. It has devolved into a captive mouthpiece for Meghan Markle's image rehabilitation machine. And I'm not saying it should be ignored, because you know I don't believe, Tash, in ignoring reporting. But I think anytime we look at these reports or these cover stories from People magazine, what we just have to understand is that this is coming directly from Harry and Meghan. Sometimes Prince Harry is actually emailing this publication direct, and we take it as that. It's not independent reporting. It's not what you do. It's not what I do. It is what I would describe as a modern day propaganda machine for Harry and Meghan.
I have a theory on this, and I can't imagine they're the only famous people that seem to have this, ridiculous number of articles written about them. People magazine isn't what it was. It used to be a really good magazine that I used to read myself many, many years ago, but it seems to have devolved and it's become just a typical, I would say sometimes, predominantly, a gossip rag, really. But it's not just made up stuff. The people that are like Harry and Meghan are talking directly to them. This is sources close to Harry and Meghan, which, Harry and Meghan's team. And I can't help but feel it's like when people buy a bumper pack of advertising. You want the billboard package that includes a magazine and a certain number of articles. You pay X amount of money, the VIP, the gold package, the bronze package. And I feel like perhaps People magazine is now operating on that sort of thing, that Harry and Meghan operate on PR. They need to get stories out there to tell the world that they're doing great, even though everything is quite clearly and obviously crumbling down around them. And the fact that People magazine ignores the actual truth and the evidence that is out there to show that Harry and Meghan are not doing great across any areas, but they continue this manufactured pumping out of these articles. It's like they bought the gold package and they're going to continue to keep pumping it out. And you see it sometimes as well, where people have picked up on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, but where certain magazine outlets will recycle the same article. It's they're same, they're different publications, but it's exactly the same, sometimes perhaps changing the picture. And it's the same thing that is just being pumped out day after day after day. And I do think it's like you can just buy these marketing packages, because how can they have anyone there that actually does any reporting and not really focus on the terrible things that have gone on with African parks and Harry still promoting them? How can they not talk about the fact that Harry is being sued by Centre Barley, but instead Harry and Meghan's life is great. Harry and Meghan's life is amazing. They know that kitchen that Meghan is posing in is not her kitchen. They know it was a hired house, yet they're still that article saying, oh, look at Meghan, everybody's so jealous of her coastal kitchen. That's not her kitchen. You know it's not her kitchen, but you're still pumping that out there. All of these very real things that are going on with Harry and Meghan, showing again African parks. That one has, absolutely horrific. Centre Barley, even the noise to do with Invictus, everything seems to be ignored and they just keep pumping out this manufactured nonsense. Like you said, it is just pure Sussex propaganda, and they are ignoring the truth that everybody...
Well, 100%, because then, Tash, we come to these new figures, which show that this is not a popular thing to do in America. Like in the past, People magazine may have been able to say, oh, well, actually, the Brits don't like Meghan, but we have an audience that does like Meghan. Well, not if you look at the new figures that Jack Royston has revealed in Newsweek. And again, Tash, this is really interesting because Newsweek used to be a propaganda outfit for Harry and Meghan. I think Jack Royston, I used to work with the guy.
Jack Royston, he was all positive.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah, he was like definitely on the payroll at one point.
Absolutely. And I used to work with him at The Sun. It was interesting because he didn't really have any experience in the royal domain. So I sort of thought, well, he's just gone all in on Harry and Meghan. But again, what he's had to do, and I don't blame him for this, is recalibrate, look at the fact that actually, well, I can't keep running these positive stories because I'm going to become a laughing stock. So now he's a bit more balanced. And what he has done here, and he says that it's because he wants empirical evidence, and I give him credit for that, is he has crunched the numbers and worked out that it's not only the was never business that is crashing, it links directly with the crash in Meghan's US popularity. And I give him credit for this work because it's very helpful, Tash. So I just want to run through it and then we will analyse. So he revealed Meghan Markle's popularity among Americans fell in the first 3 months of 2026 at the same time as visits to her as ever online shop also dipped, and that's according to polling and web traffic data examined by Newsweek. No official sales figures have been released, prompting debate about the health of her business. However, Newsweek has been using web traffic data to try and lend empirical evidence to questions about the business's performance. Good stuff. There appears to have been a decline in her US popularity at broadly the same time as a significant drop in US visitors to her website. Correlation does not imply causation, and the overlap may be coincidental. And I understand why he's put that in, but let's be honest, it's not. However, if the trend persists, it is likely to draw attention from Meghan's team as they plan their future marketing strategy. So this is Q1 2026. Meghan was liked by 29% and disliked by 27% of respondents in a poll of around 1,300 Americans conducted by YouGov over the first 3 months of 2026, giving her a net rating of +2. The methodology, based on YouGov's rolling rating system, differs from traditional polling in that responses are collected continuously throughout the year and presented in quarterly data sets, providing a more stable measure of sentiment. These figures represent a sharp drop from the third quarter of 2025, where Meghan was liked by 37% and disliked by 22% of respondents, giving her a net approval rating of +15. That equates to a 13-point decline over 2 quarters. Now, I just have to tell you, I've been a bit of a sort of student of these YouGov rolling figures over the years, because especially in my previous life and my current life, actually, when you're looking at politicians, it's very important because it tracks the rolling sentiment of how people feel about celebrities or politicians or big names. A drop like that is huge and quick. Like, usually you'll tend to see like maybe up a couple of points, down a couple of points, depending on people, say, have had a big movie out or if they've been involved in a big story. But a 13-point decline over 2 quarters. Trust me, this is what like a PR expert would say required a reputational crisis management intervention. The problem is, I think that's been tried so often by Meghan. Then we come to the web traffic, which correlates. So Royston writes, traffic on Meghan's As Ever website appears to have slowed over the same 3-month period as measured by SimilarWeb. In December, Meghan recorded around 246,000 visitors to the site, of which 108,000 were from the US. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? Because she's only selling to the US. So it means she's getting well over 100,000 visits that actually are irrelevant to her business proposition. It might be people like me who are looking a bit nosily and saying, oh, ha, 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 isn't that funny, this latest message or whatever, but they're not buying products. So really, it's only that 108,000 that matter for her in terms of her finances. In January, her total number of visits rose to 268,000. But, and this is a huge but, US visits fell to 89,000, indicating that the US traffic declined despite an overall increase in visits. And Meghan, I repeat, is only selling to America, which means that her sort of customer base has actually dipped to 89,000. Remember, the vast majority of those people will not be buying anything. The US is currently the only country she shops to, making the geographic breakdown particularly significant. Meghan has said she plans to take her business global, but has not launched internationally yet. In February, gosh, this gets so much worse, guys. Traffic fell to 213,000 visits internationally, including about 83,500 from the US. So again, the market is just getting smaller and smaller. It recovered slightly in March, 226,000, 94,000 in the US, still under that 100,000 number though. But again, April was disastrous. It tanked. 178,000 overall, but just 61,500 in the US. Now, remember, if you look at the start of the year, she was at 108,000. That's almost a halving of her internet traffic in the US, which is where she is selling to. And Royston analyzes that this suggests a broad overlap between Meghan's declining US popularity and the fall in US site visits from 108,000 in December to 61,500 in April. Now, Tash, I know some people who like struggle with numbers, and I'm not great with numbers in some ways. We say, oh, all of these figures, what do they mean? But actually, this is really fascinating because it's like massive dip in US popularity, massive dip in US website traffic, all at the same time, virtually halving, which means, Tash, if you look at it, and of course we don't have these numbers, but I would just guesstimate that probably she's also lost around half of her sales too. And it's not like she was starting at a high base. So this really is a crisis now.